and we are going live right now. So welcome guys back to another episode of Box Mining Livestream. It is bright and early 11 a.m. here in Hong Kong. Fresh new week, fresh new action on Bitcoin and Ethereum. And it's been an amazing week, guys. It's been, I'll definitely have to say, so it's been super amazing. We got Bitcoin above $60,000. We are looking yet again at some new territory to uncover, especially with the price of Bitcoin moving up this way. Today, we're going to look at what's happening on the news. There's a mixture of both good, positive, and negative as well. I mean, that's usually the case, but this is going to lead to some positivity this week because I think there's a lot going on in the background that's really setting up for some major movements on Bitcoin. And just before we start, it's kind of funny, right? You look at Bloomberg nowadays. I'm just gonna make sure that where's my window here? Oh, there we go. So you look at Bloomberg nowadays, and obviously there's a lot of talk about cryptocurrencies, technology. Bitcoin dips from after scaling $61,000 aided by stimulus. I mean, crypto's next big thing raises questions while the price surges. I definitely see, like every time I read traditional news right now, mainstream media, I definitely see there's a lot of salt. There's a lot of salt going on. There's a lot of jealousy here, especially like you look at this topic, Bitcoin dips from record highs, Bitcoin's falling, guys. It's no longer $61,000. I'm like, come on. If you look at where Bitcoin has been going and the price charts of Bitcoin is going, we're really uncovering new territory right now. And Bloomberg's taking this like 1 to 2% dip and just trying to sprinkle some salt over crypto whilst they can. I feel like that was kind of humorous for me this morning. So anyways, I feel like that's kind of the mainstream topic and stuff up, but we're gonna correct that today in today's video. I mean, the reason why we do this channel, the reason why we meet up and have discussions here is because we don't want our minds polluted by nonsense that comes out of mainstream media. Obviously, there's a lot of jealousy, right? And you definitely see it sprinkled everywhere. I just had this conversation over the weekend as well. So I was speaking to my in-laws, right? So, there's definitely a little bit of like confusion, right? People have been investing in the space for a long time, some people, they just really wanted to bash Bitcoin. And it turns out that Bitcoin bashers are really salty right now. I think I don't know, it's a little bit weird, right? But anyways, I'm glad it is. The other thing I was discussing this weekend, that's kind of funny just to bring it up, was that they're saying, I got questioned with this, right? Because recently Bitcoin obviously exploded, right? $61,000. You probably know I've been buying ever since the dip at 6,000, 5,000. So it's been going super well, right? And so my mom-in-law really said, okay, things should be easier now, right? Like, you made some really good gains, congratulations. It should be less stressful for you now. Ironically, no, because even though, I made these gains, even though I can cash out like 10% and take my initial investment back, it's actually a lot harder now because the amount of money I'm handling is larger, right? This means that it's very, very easy to screw up. I think this is something that's like facing a lot of people in crypto right now. Like one accidental click, like this is why I almost never drink in the evenings anymore, I almost never drink at all because crypto is 24 hours, right? And if you accidentally misclick a button, like sometimes you want to like buy Bitcoin or buy Ethereum and you accidentally misclick a sell. Or like like I'm sure we all had that instance before where like you just confuse the buttons, especially if the buttons aren't, colored correctly. Like it happens. Or maybe if you want to set a limit order, but it goes to a market order, a market fill, and it's like it's so easy to screw up right now. And I feel like I'm facing these like fears, like my constant fear of just misclicking the button, accidentally selling something. But anyways, I just kind of found that funny. Like the more money you manage, the more responsibility you have as well. So anyways, that's kind of there. So we'll talk about a lot of things today. We got a suggestion, Elijah coop up. Let's talk about the row hack. Yeah, there were quite a few hacks. It was quite unfortunate over the weekend. I'm not going to gloss over that. It's quite detrimental, but we'll talk about all that today. I'm going to rage at that too, because I feel like the tri-roll hack, when I read about it and I saw it, it was just like, it was actually stupid. It was actually to a point where like, come on, guys, you could have designed this better. You could have kept these keys better. But anyways, guys, we got edit names. Says this channel was my only source of info back when COVID wasn't a thing in USA, and we only had to learn from outside sources. I hope we provided good information. That was important. Like, COVID actually taught me a lot. It's just cutting through the politics, getting the real information, and it's getting harder and harder to cut through politics now. Like, we covered COVID very early to see what was really happening. Obviously, of course, the narrative completely got changed because of politics. Politics. Not a big fan of politics, but I'm not going to go too far. But I feel like this is what we want to do in this channel: cut through all the BS behind the politics, behind the mainstream media FUD, and then just get to what is really happening. So anyway, guys, if you like that sort of content, make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you hit those likes. It really does help this channel. YouTube really they really push those likes. So we really appreciate it if you just smash down those likes right now. Like, don't delay. Smash them down right now. Now, click the subscribe button. Click the notification bell. That's a little bell in the corner there. That'll notify you when new live streams are up. I've been doing a lot of live streams right now, especially spontaneous live streams to cover main key events in the cryptocurrency space. So make sure you smash those up, and let's get started. All right, guys. So starting off, let's just take a very quick glance at the markets, and then we'll take a look at the news. So yes, past 7 days for Bitcoin has been pretty amazing. We're above $60,000. ETH is $1,900, almost hitting that $2,000 mark. So yes, that's in the past 7 days, we've been growing quite aggressively. Even Binance Coin, number 3 coin cryptocurrency right now. That's kind of crazy, right? It was number 10 just like 6-7 months ago, but it's number 3 right now. We have Binance Coin sitting there, even with some really strong gains. So whilst the past 24 hours hasn't been too crazy for Bitcoin itself, there has been some, let's take a little quick look at the charts right here. So we have Bitcoin itself, it rallied past the previous resistance. So we saw the last time it peaked, right? Bitcoin peaked at $58,000-ish on the 21st of February, but now we pushed past that, right? And it was a very rapid push. Right? Once we hit that mark, boom, we pushed past that, went all the way up to $61,000, and now we're kind of consolidating a bit at around 60,000. So we're not yet ready there. We're not there to explore that new territory. So once we pass this kind of resistance that we saw, some people were expecting $75,000 immediately, but that didn't happen, right? So that's kind of what this week is setting up for. That's what the bulls are setting up for this week, to try to push to new ground, right? To a new all-time high, and people are expecting around $70,000 to $75,000. All the bulls are looking to that territory to grow, but we're not there yet. So we're still kind of consolidating here. I can definitely see Bloomberg a little bit salty. Oh my God, they're just wondering what's happening. I think a lot of boomers are just wondering. Not to salt on boomers, but boomers are just wondering, when is this bubble going to end? But it just doesn't end, right? Like, Bitcoin just keeps going after 10 years. We're still not dead. So that's where Bitcoin is at. So it's not completely rallying as of yet, but there's definitely a lot of eyeballs on that right now. We definitely didn't see that in 2017. I feel like 2017, there's a lot of surprise, but the eyeballs just weren't there yet. Now we also have Ethereum. So Ethereum hasn't actually crossed to new grounds yet. So we saw the previous resistance for Ethereum at $20,000, right? So we're kind of continuously pushing up towards that. We're going to see if that's going to hold us back this rally. But yet again, if Ethereum does push beyond 2,000, yet again, we're probably looking at 2,200 to 2,300 for the next kind of push up. So quite bullish this outlook right now, and I'm definitely eyeing a lot. These big coins, the major cryptocurrencies, they really dictate the pace of this market. Now, right now, we're still, whilst the big coins are still kind of hanging there, we're seeing a lot of growth, tremendous growth in the altcoin space. So we got Hollow moving up 74%, Harmony 60%, Enjin still pushing up. I mean, crazy, right? This is crazy. I mean, Enjin, something that I was holding for a long time. It had no activity for most of the last of DeFi summer, right? DeFi summer, Enjin was just sitting at 30 cents, right? Now it's like $2.70 and it's still pushing. It's crazy. I'm blown away every single day. And we got Decentraland, so all the NFTs. We also have Wax also moving up NFTs. That's like the hottest topic. We got VeChain also up there as well. VeChain's almost passing 7 cents right now. So if you're like a VeChain hodler from the old days before the split, that would be $7.30 right now on the old prices. It's kind of crazy. So definitely a lot of action. You definitely see a lot of the asymmetry going on, in terms of the decrease, not that much decrease, but massive gains in the top. So you can see that asymmetry flowing into the market right now. Everyone's eyeing the altcoins. And there's a lot of discussion on that too, right? A lot of people are saying, and rightfully so, people who are used to all this action, they want Bitcoin to keep going, but at the same time, people are eyeing these alts because it's just like the shiny alts over the corner, with these massive gains. I do have to say one thing, when we look at this, obviously I look for the asymmetry in the altcoin space, right? So it's very easy to click, the top 24 hours to see like rank what's gone up majorly, what's gone down. I usually eye this for the asymmetry in the market to see, okay, are there more gains than losers, right? To see where we are in the altcoin space, whether we are pushing towards a bigger altcoin season or to a smaller altcoin season. This is all, but something like this is great for this indication, but it's important to remember that this is also very dangerous as well, because you also have survivor bias, right? You're like, oh, why didn't I get in like Hollow? Why didn't I get in Harmony? Why didn't I get in Enjin or Decentraland or this? It's very easy to say this, but hindsight is always 2020. So always remember this. So whilst I do this, it's always important for myself. Like when I've talked to myself, I always remember, hindsight is always 2020. Like these coins, congratulations. If I'm not in them, congratulations. If I'm in them, gotta treat myself to a steak dinner sometime, right? That's the way it is. Lots of steak dinners. I'm getting super fat, but that's not the point, right? But that's not a point. But it's very easy to have survivor bias. And right now, I'm holding a lot of altcoins. I think right now I'm pushing to around 50 to 60 altcoins. It's not, it happens, right? It happens. Like you see a lot of growth. I have a more diverse portfolio. This is why this channel is not financial advice. It doesn't, what works for me doesn't work for everyone. But because I'm holding quite a big altcoin portfolio, I'm pretty ecstatic right now. And generally speaking, for myself, I look a lot to see where the trend is going. So yes, the trend is definitely asymmetrical in that respect with the top 20. And even here on the top 200, you definitely see like massive growth yet ahead. Here, SafePal Orbs, Quark Chain moving up, Dodo, VeChain, Thor, like VeChain, VTHO is moving up too. It's crazy, right? And then we have Made Safe Coin, yeah, like some moderate losses, but overall seems a lot more asymmetrical than not at this current point. So I'm pretty ecstatic, if you guys can tell. But we got Bernard Macarius commenting in. He said, I just had steak and potato tonight, getting sleepy, LOL. Absolutely, man. I'm watching my health this time too. Just total off topic, congrats to Bernard. I love steak and potato dinners. I want to top that with a little bit of whiskey. That would be a perfect evening for me. But now whiskey's banned because no drinking. Way too much at crypto, especially the shameful thing about me is at night, this is when a lot of activity. So, because I'm in Hong Kong, so at night is when the other side of the world wakes up and then there's a frantic motion of activity there. So I always want to stay conscious. I'm staying up later and later as well to 1 to 2 a.m. And you never want, you want to be super focused at that time. So it's always screwing up my sleep schedule, but that's kind of what I'm going for. And also trying to exercise just a little teeny weeny bit as well at this current time. So anyways, um, Spring Duke says, "Holy cow, 50 holdings. Do you list them anywhere?" So I don't list them currently at this current point. I am trying to clean up a list. I do have like a partial list of what I'm holding. A lot of times I manage it by just looking at the exchange wallets and also Zerion. So if you guys have Zerion wallet, you can watch all your wallets there, which is very, very useful because you really want to know what's going on. But it to be honest, it's been pretty amazing. Like a lot of altcoins have been popping left, right, and center, and it's a point where I think my alt portfolio has massively performed and has been becoming a larger and larger proportion of my overall portfolio as well. And that's good and bad, right? It's very, very volatile. It screws up with your emotions, but at the same time, I'm happy that I managed to get in and not stick myself under myself under a rock, because I was very, very close to being a maximalist at one point. In 2017, I was so close. I was like, oh, maybe just ignore everything else, but my gut instinct said otherwise, and I'm happy. I'm glad for it. So, anyways, rambling aside, let's take a very quick look at the major news headlines today. Uh, so yes, we saw Bloomberg throwing a little bit of salt on the NFT craze. I mean, this crypto's next big thing raises prices while prices surge, right? So what is that big thing? Obviously, it's non-fungible tokens. This year, this has been taking off like crazy. Last Friday, we talked about Beeple, which is a $69 million art sale. My mind is blown. All right. So a few things, right? A few things about NFTs, right? Obviously, this market is heating up, and obviously, we've been exploring NFTs for a long amount of time. And something I learned about this is all about timing, right? This timing right now is perfect. Some people are like, "Oh, why didn't you create NFTs?" Well, I did like 2 years ago, but it wasn't as hot then. I should have a new series coming up of NFTs. It wasn't as hot then, but now it's super hot for both art, for video games, for everything. This is why something like Enjin is moving up like crazy. Wax also, like, so even these coins, like, they're also aggressively moving up. Look at Enjin. Past, like Enjin is one of my solid bag holdings, right? And just look at that. It's been like continuously on the climb. We also have Wax there. That's also pushing up very aggressive. Like, it's to a point where sometimes, I don't look at these coins for a while because I know I'm hodling them for a long period of time. But then yeah, I go back and I'm like, oh my God, this is insane. So what's happening on non-fungible tokens? Right now, the biggest approach is obviously with art, right? Art, everyone is starting to understand. The art world is taking notice, especially with a 69 million, not thousand. I was going to put thousand, like $69 million sale on Christie's for those Beeples. And then we have like endless sales coming up like every single day almost. I mean, it's crazy. I read Twitter and sometimes I'm like, these people are trading these crypto punks for like 230 Ethereum. Like, it blows my mind. But some things to remember here, I was very skeptical about the art scene, right? With all these crypto arts, and something that to remember is that there is a very, very rich Patreon scene, right? This is saying that basically a lot of people who are in ETH very early, they hold a lot of ETH and they want to hold the sentimental collectibles and trade them. So this is something that I'm taking some time to understand. It's something that, it really blows my mind because personally, I'm so stingy, right, with my money. So even if I make money in crypto, I'm not going to spend like more than $1,000 on art. Like, I would say like $30 was pushing it, right? If I'm gonna buy some like image and support some artist, I would spend like $30. All right, like I'll be like, yeah, $30. That's roughly what I would pay to some guy. Like, I kind of treat it like all these art things. Like you go on a like. You see street artists, right? And like the max I'll do is like $10, $20, $30, right? I'm stingy. I'm stingy, all right? I'm free to admit that. And that's the max I pay. And I get a physical piece of art. For this digital art, like they just scan an image on or just draw it on like freaking like the fact that the Nyan cat, the first Nyan cat sold as an NFT for more, like I think it was like $600,000, right? That was what I was trading at. That blows my mind. I would never spend that much money. But there are people who do, right? There are people who do. So it's like like I'm having my kind of boomer moment right now where I'm like, okay, look, I need to remodify how I think about these NFTs, right? Like before I was thinking, oh, let's make everything cheap and affordable and, to the right price point. But that's not the way people want to operate. People want like mega expensive, mega rare, make some noise, have some emotional attachment, and they're happy with it. If they're happy, I'll spend my time to understand what makes them tick, right? That's kind of my new objective nowadays with the NFT scene. So yes, so this whole thing, like people are saying, is turnips or tulips rather, like the tulip craze. Um, that's what they said about Bitcoin. But I would say here that NFT scene is still relatively young, and I think it's great that people are trading like this. And something that we learned on Friday too is that a lot of the people who trade NFTs, they really love them, and they also think in Ethereum prices. That's kind of interesting. Like a lot of the OG Ethereum speculators who are kind of all being very rich Patreons for the scene, right? They're really supporting this. We see and have interviews with people who are consistently every week buying new NFTs, right? They're filling up their NFT gallery. They really love this. They probably have they're probably in the tens of thousands of ETH holdings, probably like like their ETH holdings is pretty good. But something that's interesting is they think in terms of ETH, not in terms of fiat, right? Which is why when they speculate, they spend like, 200 ETH on something, and it's relatively fine. But like from my understanding, and this is my take on it, I'm not going to speculate on this, but I'm going to watch the scene grow. And I'm advising multiple projects that are both in the scene, like say for example Chain Guardians, they're there. I'm speaking a lot to Enjin guys, the folks there, trying to make sure that the gaming stuff is great and at least understand what they're doing. I'm speaking a lot to Refinable. So this is my understanding here. I'm not a full speculator on NFTs. I don't think I'm as wealthy as that. I don't think I can easily throw like 200 ETH on an NFT and be happy with it. But my take is like, if I ever do have something with NFTs, right? Like I think my budget range will be around 30 something dollars. If I have that emotional connection, I think it'll be great. An example of that, of something that I did spend a little bit of money on, was this thing. It made the news. Someone shared it. It was some crypto Mooncats. It was Mooncats. I mean, let me just get this very quickly for you guys here. Um, just an example of okay, this one, the ancient NFT project called Mooncats is eating up Ethereum. So yeah, so apparently, I'll share this weekend. You can discover these Mooncats. And yeah, so this was shared here. I think it might be the case that it's out right now. The mission was a success. Yeah, so this was the max I did, right? This is the max I did for these NFTs this weekend. Like there was a Mooncat rescue. Someone shared this with me. I'm like, okay, you know what? Why not? I'm gonna rescue a cat, and I could rescue 2 cats over the weekend. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. It costs around $30. That was around my budget range for that. It made sense, right? $30. Interactive smart contract. I got a Mooncat. That's pretty much it for now. But yeah, that's around it. That's around it. That being said, last thing I want to say about NFT news. I've been contacted about NFTs in China and Asia as well by FM Gallery. So they're super hot. It's super, like, NFT space and NFT collectible art is also super hot in China right now. So FM Gallery, what they're doing is they're doing this new set of fragments of this new kind of art. They're a little bit pretentious in name, all right? So FM Gallery, what their token is called is the WA, right? Which is the Warhol token. Haha. I mean, Chinese love this, by the way. Chinese love all these like kind of famous Western people and this kind of connotation to it. But anyways, this is heating up a lot. I've been learning a lot more about that that's happening. The art is actually quite good, to be honest, though. To be honest, like the Genesis Blind series or what they're doing. Yeah, they're like, I feel like this is the case where initially we saw art that was like, it's digital, it's punky, it's quite nice, it's quite fun, but at the same time, it's not I think the quality of art that's coming in. So like if you look at the art series, there's a Supreme release. Seven Deadly Sins looks super cool. I love CG, right? I love CG. And then you got basically a representation of these beasts. Like this is like art I appreciate, All right, I'm messed up in that way. I messed up in that way. But anyways, so yeah, they're selling that very soon, and they're doing that. Like they're really heating up in China. So I want to do a shout out. Recently, looking at the community as well. Full disclosure, I'm looking to invest into what they're doing. Yeah, it's been crazy. I think that's the time. All right. Um, Joseph Saylor says Charlie Lee says the majority of NFTs are not worth the price or the hype. Yet again, like I said, I totally agree with that. Actually, to be honest, like there's a lot of people speculating, and I don't know. It depends on where this goes, and depends on the mentality of people going into this. I don't think I'm going to try to stop people, because I feel like there's people who are very well off and they genuinely are interested in buying particular pieces of art. And if you just look at my interview with the Chain Guardian folks and Ido in particular, he really likes it. This is his passion. Right? He likes these collectibles. He's been collecting like comic books. He's been collecting like watches. He's been collecting stuff for ages. And this is like the collector's dream, right? Almost, I won't say wet dream, but yeah, it's a collector's dream, because this is very easy to appraise, very easy to find out how the quantities are in the world, and very easy to verify authenticity, right? So these factors make it very, very powerful. Is it really worth that price? Who knows? It's like price is in the value of the holder. And for me, like I said, I don't really speculate. Like I said, I mostly speculate on very cheap stuff. I'm a cheapskate. Like I'm like a $30 person, right? I can speculate on $30 stuff. I think I'll be emotionally happy if this thing goes to zero. I'll be emotionally happy because it's $30. I had my fun. I had a little cat. Whatever. If it goes up, sure, why not? I'm happy. But I'm definitely not like $1 million speculator on this stuff. I think I don't know if I'm ever be like that, but I definitely appreciate the number of art lovers out there. Let's phrase it like that. So David Cantoni says NFTs are great for money laundering. Changed my mind. I think under discussion, right? So we've been discussing NFTs a lot, and I feel like I should answer this question as well. I feel like initially we saw that there was a lot of dirty trading going on in the NFT scene. So we saw like these huge ETH movements and people bidding on their own non-fungible tokens. Like people were caught for that, and to bid up the price of something. Um, I'm absolutely sure that happens, right? And some of it might be money laundering. It might be the case where instead of paying someone, right, for stuff, you just buy their expensive art, and that might be a way to launder money. And absolutely, that happens. It's unfortunate. I think there will be better protocols in the future to prevent that from happening. And I think it's a little bit better that it's done on the blockchain too, because it's much more transparent and traceable. I mean, the exact same thing happens with art as well. The art world, the real fine art world, is super dirty. You know, they're all filled with very, very rich patrons, and there's definitely a lot of money laundering going on. It's just dressed up a little bit better, right? It's Christie's. Oh my God, they don't launder money. Actually, where do these rich patrons come from? Where that's the unfortunate side effect of everything that deals with like these collectibles, tradables. It's unfortunate. But is there value in it as well, where people love to collect? I think so. Is there a lot of crap there too? I think so, yeah, absolutely. And I think being on crypto and being on a blockchain is much more transparent, which is actually better, because if you want to do law enforcement, if you want to enforce something, at least you can track where the funds go, and that actually helps a little bit better. So anyways, that's my 2 cents on this. That's my 2 cents on there. All right. Chronic says, I don't see the value of putting art on a token. Okay, so you get a token, but the art can be replicated with something as simple as a printer. Not even, right? It's like a screenshot. Like I'm famous for like not famous, right? I said that early on. People are buying this art for $60,000. I could just download it, screenshot on my phone, set it on my wallpaper, done deal, right? Um, there's a portion that I still feel like digital art shouldn't be worth and valued as much. because it's digital. It's very easy to replicate. But a lot of people love the collecting aspect of that. So it's like I still feel that there needs to be a little bit extra in terms of digital art, like making it part of a video game or integrating it into some form of fashion or some form of like extra things you can do with that digital art. I think that is quite important to have make that distinction because it's not even a printer, right? Yeah, you can just screenshot it. It's free but to screenshot a piece of art. So, and you don't really get the magic of it. Like for digital art, like if you ever go to an art gallery, like in London, there's the National Gallery. I've been there quite a few times. When you see art in real life, it's very impactful because with oil painting, it's very three-dimensional, right? The way they painted and the way it's structured, it's like every angle that you look at, it's a little bit different. With digital art, you don't get any of that, right? With digital art, you see the prints of these grand works, these fine art masterpieces, and they lose completely all their magic, right? The moment you see the Mona Lisa being reprinted, it's different. Like not to show the Mona Lisa too much, but apparently every angle that you see the Mona Lisa at, if you're surrounding the Mona Lisa, you look at it from the right, look at it from the left, look at it from on top, up below, it gives a different impression and there's a certain magic to it, but you can't really replicate that with, say, a reprint. So I feel like there's definitely some stuff missing there. So in that NFC scene, I know this is heating up a lot, but you need to have some sort of extra value. So yes, people are talking about like something like Terra Nova. They're trying to add it to, say, a virtual environment where you can be surrounded by your NFTs. I guess, some people love that, in a virtual world. You can just browse all your NFTs. I don't know. That's not for me, but it's for some people. But I think it's taking it to the next level. And I think that's quite important. Like there must be some way to take it to the next level. And that's quite important. Uh, what is up with the spam by bots thing again? Yeah, there's apparently a lot of spam. So thank you, mods. I've been seeing a lot of, what is it? There's been quite a bit of spam here, but anyways, let's move on. Let's move on to what's happening on the news side. We probably finished one of the biggest discussions on NFTs. But anyways, yeah, that's pretty much sparked by this article. We also have the Binance stuff. So over the week, there were a few articles that came out to say that Binance is under investigation for AML KYC practices and perhaps taking on American customers. So this is actually quite interesting because now we have this huge discrepancy in the news, right? So we have some news articles pointing to this as that Binance is under investigation, but CZ came out to say there is no teeth, right? He also alleged that there could be self-perceived competitors that might bribe or pressure journalists to publish stories heavily on allegations and short on content. I love that sprinkling there. So what's happening right now? So definitely regulation space is very murky right now, especially in the crypto scene. We saw, like, say, Tether was under investigation and they were fined by the New York Attorney General. We definitely see that crypto is moving into a new space, and more and more, as more people pay attention, more and more regulators are going to come this way. This also leads to a lot of murky journalism of where we don't see what's happening. We don't really have the full story. It might be the case that it is true, right? Who knows, right? CZ might also be, like everyone is having their own version of what's happening, right? Their own interpretation, right? Whether it's journalists, whether it's competitors, whether it's Binance. The way I see it right now is that it's extremely murky. It is extremely murky, and it's very hard to really get a feel what's happening. So you get these huge shifts in mentality of like people being super bullish on, say, a particular project and a super bearish, right? So take for the case of Binance, people who are very deep into Binance will believe that this is all bogus, set up by competitor, whilst others who are quite bearish on Binance will think, okay, they're going to be under investigation, be very careful, etc. For me personally, I kind of take the middle road. I kind of say, look, I understand that right now the scene is very murky and it's going to swing both ways. So I'm kind of like anticipating for it. I do hold BNB. You guys probably know it's one of my medium bags. And it's a situation here where I'm kind of prepared for both sides, right? If the FUD really grows, I'm ready for that FUD too. I'm not going to get freaked out. If the bullishness comes like later on, nothing happens, I'm prepared to. That's kind of my mentality. It's kind of being ready, mentally prepared for both. Because for me, I've seen myself freak out sometimes when I see a piece of news, right? Which it's like, oh my God, this is a new rumor. India's going to ban crypto. And then, oh my God, people freak out. Like here, it's like understanding that the news can swing in both directions, especially with so much murkiness that's going on. Yeah, that's kind of the only way to take crypto at its current point. All right, next up, we got SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried, FTX to purchase Miami Heat's arena naming rights. So yeah, it's gonna be the FTX Arena. So we saw registration for FTX Arena coming soon. They might stick their names on it. This might be quite interesting because like you can definitely see these things are relatively cheap, to be honest, right? American Airlines previously paid $2 million a year to sponsor the arena. It's not that expensive, huh? That's not expensive. Like how much does FTX make? Like they probably make that per hour, right? It's not very expensive at all. So I found that kind of interesting. I think that's gonna happen. This is gonna be like the newest trend. Like FTX probably is gonna they're starting this, but I can definitely see like Binance pushing forward, just naming sports stadiums after themselves. I can see Coinbase. Coinbase is launching their IPO. They need some of that, right? If it's only $2 million, right? I maybe there's some regulation in between, but if it's only $2 million, I can see every exchange renaming every single arena in the States. That's probably the case, or maybe around the world. That's gonna be quite funny, right? But yeah, we also have this piece of news: reported volume of top Korean crypto exchanges surpasses that of the country's stock market. I think this happened in 2017 as well, but it's back, guys. It is back, where crypto volume in South Korea is greater than the stock exchange. It's just like stock exchange, boring, equity, boring. Crypto, that's cool. More volume there. That fever is coming back. Obviously, in South Korea, it was kind of interesting, right? They got really burnt in 2017, so they were very apprehensive about crypto, right? So during the DeFi summer, Korea was not into this at all. Like I was talking to Koreans, and they're like, "Cut it out, bro. Cut it out. Crypto, not cool. But now it seems like the volume is on the rise again. That fever is coming back. So yeah, expecting to see some South Korean action. I mean, that powered like a lot of 2017's run. All right, this is one of the big things that people wanted to talk about. Social tokens crash after reported hack on Roll Wallet. All right, so like various cryptocurrencies just got obliterated. One of the communities that I was in, so I was in Karma DAO. So I'm still in Karma DAO, right? So Karma DAO was one of the early information sources for me. So I'm very thankful that I was able to join the group. Karma was actually quite expensive to join back in the day. You needed 200 Karma, which was around $10 each, right? So back in the day, it would cost like what, $2,000 to just join that group and to be able to be part of that community. So it was very expensive, to join it. So you have to buy and hold this Karma in your wallet. If you had less than 200 Karma, you get kicked out. But yeah, so that's not good. The Karma prices just got obliterated. Am I salty? A little bit. All right, a little bit. Obviously, I joined the group. I got my information, so I'm happy that I had the information that I had. I'm still in the group. I'm still getting information. But seeing this get obliterated is obviously crazy, right? That's insane. This is like a direct to zero sort of thing. So why did this happen? Why did this happen? Because Karma DAO and a lot of these social networks, they were using something called Tri-Roll, and Tri-Roll took on a huge hack. So this happened to Whale, this happened to Rare, to Pika. So what happened? So there was a big dump. All right. So someone that, because it was using this underlying service called Tri-Roll, the creators of Tri-Roll had someone breach the private keys. This yet again baffles me as to why this happened or why the security was so weak. But because they had the ability there, they had this master private key that was able to uh, change a lot of what's happening on the network. Apparently, that caused a major dump. So I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I mean, like, why did Triro have so much power? I don't really understand. Like, it's a situation where like I'm a little bit baffled as to when I tweeted about this, I'm like I'm a little bit baffled, like as a kind of a semi-victim of this of what's going on because I was in karma, right? I'm like I don't I don't see why there was a central point of failure, right? I don't understand why this was the case. Um, it definitely affected a lot of people. So I don't know how to handle it either. I mean, obviously people are in this. The update on this from Triroll is that they're gonna try to recover what's happening. They also have setting up side $500,000 to try to help all these communities. But I think it really does go to show that I think it's just design. It's just very flawed design that happens, and I don't know. It's just it just makes me sad. It's quite an amateur mistake, I would say. anyways, I don't know. I don't know. You guys tell me. Yeah, we got a comment from Mickey Hable says happy changes the hack and scam game. Obviously, I think like this is yet again a situation where I'm extremely happy to be like to understand what's happening with cybersecurity. I think a lot of people are slowly understanding the power and the necessity um cybersecurity. But yeah, oof, oof. I just feel the pain, man. I just feel the pain. Like, why wasn't this a little bit better managed? I don't understand. But anyways, let me just give you the full tweet about that too. So roll or try roll. They're the infrastructure that was possible. So they said earlier today, our private keys to our hot wallets were compromised. We're investigating with our infrastructure providers, security engineers, and law enforcement. We're putting together a $500,000 fund. Yet again, I don't understand why this happened first. Like, why was it engineered so poorly? Like these are the setbacks that would cost us, right? These are setbacks that will cost this whole entire community, and hopefully not bad. But anyways, tell me if you guys are affected by this. I definitely lost value in karma. Like, I'm definitely hit by this. It's not the biggest thing in the world. Like I said, for me, the way I took karma was that I wasn't speculating the coin. I just went there. I bought 200. I'm in the chat. I got my value out of it. Right? I got my $2,000 worth of value and information sharing. But um, you know, you know, yeah, yeah. All right, we got next up. Lawmakers sign a petition for legal changes that will allow France's central bank to buy Bitcoin. This is interesting. Everyone's buying Bitcoin now, right? Everyone is holding Bitcoin. This is something that I think would be like a dream. Like, would it be like a pipe dream back in 2017? But now it's happening. So this petition has 222 signers that will allow a change for a central bank to buy. I don't think it's yet early. I think this wave, it's unlikely that the banks would buy crypto. I think companies, that was the one that we're focused on. So we saw like Elon Musk, Tesla bought. We saw Meitu Shoushou. Meitu Shoushou is one of the biggest kind of media apps, social media apps in China. It's the one where people make themselves look better. They've also have a position in Bitcoin. So large companies, large public companies buying Bitcoin. That's the trend for this year. Banks, maybe. I think not there yet because they're so conservative, and you know how banks work. They're super conservative, but I definitely see that coming. Eventually. I think that's gonna be the power of that coming up. All right, so that's kind of wrapping up for news. We have some news on the Launchpad side. So we have PolkaFoundry. They're doing a launch on both DuckDAO and MantraDAO. So this is also another project that I've been following right now in terms of Duckstarter. So you can actually register for these whitelists right now on Duckstarter. So Duckstarter, you have Leprecoin, PolkaFoundry, and Cash Tech. If you're interested in PolkaFoundry, what it is that PolkaFoundry is a framework that allows people to start building on Polkadot. The reason why I'm following it is because something like this is quite critical for the ecosystem in the future. Reason why is because all these platforms, they provide a way for programmers to program and create projects. But what's kind of necessary is infrastructure as well. So say, for example, how to have an ID, digital identity, how to safeguard documents, how to do a chain relay, cross-chain. So what PolkaFoundry offers is it offers a tool set for developers to build. This is kind of like this SDKs for developing stuff, or people have been naming it different things, right? The way these smart contract platform works is that they're just like a blank piece of paper, but developers are developing more and more tools, and they call it different things. I've seen people call it the operating system for developers or the SDK for developers. Same thing. All is just that they all provide these services that people can plug in, and it becomes much easier to develop new contracts. So they don't have to reinvent the wheel, so to speak. So PolkaFoundry is something like that. It provides the tools necessary for the developers, or it just makes their lives a lot easier. That's kind of probably a little bit easier to say. It just makes your life a lot easier. So that's launching on Polka. That's launching a Duck starter coming soon. So that's very, very soon. So that's what I'm paying attention to this week as well. I'm also paying attention to what's happening on Polka Starter. Blockchain Cuties is going to happen in around 10 hours. Konami, a lot of people are showing me this like aggressively. Oh, like they're like, this is the most legit thing in the world. Yeah, so they're being showing me that endlessly odds, shift, and convergence all coming on Polka Starter. So a lot of these things, like I've definitely say, you know, with these launch pads, with these starting things, this is obviously very, very early stage into these projects. Some might work, some might not, you know, just be very, very careful. Also, TrustSwap Launchpad is coming up. There is more Flash launch coming for Cellframe, and a lot more, like there's a lot more coming on the TrustSwap Launchpad as well. So yeah. So yeah, that's kind of the take on it. Like, it is very early stage. It's extremely like volatile space, but like I'm looking quite aggressively in the altcoin space as well. And it kind of just fits the story. So anyways, not your financial advisor going forward. So anyways, I have a few questions here. Raja says, Michael, are you still farming Goose Finance? So Goose Finance is a BSC farm. It was one of the best farms. It had like 1,000-something% annual percentage yield. But excuse me. Big cough here. I hope that guy didn't blow that did not blow out your ears. Hopefully so. But I just realized something. Was it the case that this screen was all like stretched? Huh. Anyways, sorry. Apologies for that, guys. Apologies for that. So, all right. So yeah, so Goose had some really good yields, right? So it had, I mean, it's still all right. It's like 100% on some of these yield things. It's right now it's fallen, like BUSD, WBNB, 100%. It's still a lot, but it's fallen from the 1,000% days, to say the least. So the question was, am I still farming? Yes. A few things happened with Goose. They introduced something called layered farming, which is something that I got totally wrecked on. So layered farming is just farming for the sake of farming. And I've kind of said to my group, you know, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen, because like it's creating a new coin, but there's no value to the coin. The coin is just there for farming. But the way farming works is that farming needs to bring some value to the new currency that's creating, right? Otherwise, it's just a giant pyramid scheme. Otherwise, if there's no value, it kind of sucks. Goose layer 1 kind of worked out. Like, people were really hyping up for it. People just didn't care. They went into it anyways. Layer 2 came out, and I did try a bit, so I did farm it a little bit. It had a 4% deposit fee. And I was like, oh, why not? 4%, it's not that much. And the APYs were pretty amazing. But it was a case where the APYs very, very quickly fell from 1,000 to around right now like 70-something%, which means it's not much better than the actual Goose itself. It's like, it's like Goose layer 2 is farming. And I feel like my take with this layer farming thing is that it doesn't really create external value. That doesn't fulfill that criteria. So I didn't buy the coins. That's definitely something I do not do. And I also farmed it, but I don't think I'll actually make back the deposit fee. The 4% deposit fee, I don't think I'll make it back. And I was lucky I didn't go all in. I think that's good. But it was one of those situations where that um, the APY dropped so fast. And yet again, I think like a lot of people, they know me as a farmer. I've been yield farming quite a bit. And as a yield farmer, I think I kind of feel like this current season is coming to an end. Like this also happened during DeFi summer, where last summer, yield farming was hot. You got like the first one was Wi-Fi that came out. Wi-Fi now is $1 billion market cap coin, right? So yeah, so initially there was a high value. Cream could be farmed, Wi-Fi could be farmed. There were quite a few projects that were out there that became, these massive titans of DeFi today. But towards the middle of that, there were a bunch of things like Yam, there were like and Noodle, and I don't know what else, like those food things, right? Like a bunch of these food things, or whatever. Like, so they're all being farmed, and I feel like this is the same thing repeating itself. Like history repeats itself on Binance Smart Chain. So there's a lot of farms, and we have to see if farms bring value or not, right? So I know the people from Goose DeFi, they're in my chat, and I've been pushing them. Like if I have to say anything to them, I was like, just bring value. Like that's a key thing right now. Bring value onto the blockchain, whether it's doing something powerful, doing something like you have to bring some sort of value. Otherwise, it's nothing, right? Otherwise, it's just speculation for the sake of speculation, right? So I feel like that's kind of the objective for all these yield farms right now. But definitely right now, like over the past few weeks, we definitely saw quite a few yield farms come and go. Say, for example, like Viking or Tackle or Yoda, UFO, I don't know, like Cow, I don't know. There's like a bunch that went on, and I think it's too much too quick. Market's becoming much more rational now. And it's a situation because there were so many rug pulls like last 2 weeks, I kind of really decreased the amount of farming I did, right? Because there were like these outright scams. Meerkat is one of them. Like I saw the way Meerkat scammed people, and I was like, you know what? This is the cue to dial down on everything, right? This is definitely the cue. Meerkat, the way they scam people was that they were able to hide a zero, or rather, hide a zero as an O, right? So it's like a very tiny swap that they did, like a very tiny change. They made a intentional typo where instead of saying admin slot, they changed the O in slot to a zero, which allowed them to hide a backdoor. I mean, that's like such a powerful trick, because anyone who's auditing or very quickly glancing through, they wouldn't spot that change, right? 0 and O looks very similar when you type it out, especially if your font is not very clear. And by hiding that this way, I felt like it was very hard for anyone to be able to ensure their own safety. So that was my kind of cue to decrease the aggression on farming. So yeah, that's my take on it. Like, these things come and go, and last time was the exact same thing. Like when things get scammy, you just like don't do it, right? So that's my take. Stefan Molly meme says the way to scam people. I'm taking notes. It's like some developers are so unscrupulous. It's kind of unfortunate, and yeah. So right now, I think there are some new projects. I've been a lot less aggressive. Like you probably understand. I know, like these 2 weekends, I've been a little bit less aggressive. That's usually my farming weekend. If something goes crazy, I usually spend the weekend trying to farm new projects. I didn't. So these few weeks, I've been playing it a lot less aggressive. I feel like, the risks are growing and the rewards are decreasing. So that's my 2 cents. Enjin coin popping off, man, says Danny D. Man, Enjin is just crazy. Enjin is just like unbelievable. Like I'm so through the roof because like, yeah, I've been holding on to Enjin for a long time. You guys, it's like kind of my baby, right? Like it's one of the first projects I really got into, and like it was one that I did a deep dive on. Like before in 2017, I was like, I'm gonna deep dive on one project, and that was kind of it. Like Enjin was the one. I've been to GDC to see what they're doing. I pretty much tried to meet up their founders to see if they're legit or not. I did so much work on that, like to make sure that I was safe. And it's a situation where last DeFi summer, they didn't really move at all, and I was a little bit sad, right, to see like they did so much hard work, why they're not moving, and then suddenly they're having the success, and I feel like I'm extremely excited. Like obviously, of course, I hold Enjin. I'm gonna be biased right now, but yeah, $2.80 is just insane. Like this ride the last week, in a week's time, it was $1.67 to like $2.80, and in the last 30 days, it was like what, like 50 cents to $2. It's been pretty crazy. It's been a pretty crazy ride. So yeah, Danny Easy's any price predictions? I don't usually do price predictions. Like for me, you guys know, like the way I work is that I do a lot of research and I decide how long I want to hodl it for, and then it's a situation that really did pay off for me. But I don't like this type of short-term speculation. I feel like, especially for these things, it really confuses the message. I think they're doing a lot of work for it. They're doing super good, but yet again, short-term price speculation, not my cup of tea. It's so speculative depending on who is coming in speculating. It's very, very hard. And sometimes because the price movements are so crazy, who knows what's going to happen next, right? So this is why, not financial advice. I'd never give financial advice on this channel. For me, like I decide what's my medium hodl, what's my long term hodl. You guys know Bitcoin, Ethereum, VeChain in my long-term hodl. I just very seldomly touch that. Like I have these like kind of buckets, right? Like the way I work is I have these buckets in my mind, like these almost segregated like pillars, right? So I have a pillar for, say, the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and VeChain. That's my long term. I got my medium term. We got BNB in there. We got Utrust. We got Swissborg. We got Enjin in there. It's been doing super well, but like all of them are doing like it's astonishing, right? Like my medium bags are just popping, right? And that's been doing super well. Then I have like a big bag of alts, like all the alts out there. It makes a lot of sense as everything's going on. So yeah, that's kind of how I frame it. So I have like different compartments and have different mentalities. So I'm glad that they're having the success. So yeah. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching today. Stefan says it's 5x in a month, pretty nice. But it's not for me. It wasn't for a month. It was for a much longer period. And so it eventually worked out for me. But yet again, it's like sometimes a lot of people, they get into positions very quickly and they will manage to flip it 5-10x and they brag about it. But remember, there's also a lot of survivor bias, because if people start losing, all right, they never talk about it. So you have a scenario in the altcoin space where everyone's just bragging about their major gains, sick gains, 10xing every day. But just remember that there's a lot of survivor bias. The people who are talking the loudest are the winners, and the losers will never speak, right? You'll never hear a whimper from them. So just be very cautious of that. If you're interacting with people, I think that's quite key. Like that survivor bias is super, super key on that. So guys, thank you guys so much for watching today. Thank you guys. We got Bob Blair says, thank you, Michael. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Smart Altcoin says, I bought Enjin back in the day from your show, liked it, hodled it through the bear market, happy now, thumbs up. Congrats, man. Congrats. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for today's show. I definitely hope you guys can tune in. This week I might not do the Wednesday show. I think the show on Wednesday. I think that's I'm trying to work a little bit more this week on some other videos that are not live streams, because I kind of noticing I'm a little bit weak on that front. So very likely, if there's time, I'll do a spontaneous live stream this week. And if not, if I don't do a spontaneous live stream, it will be on Friday, right? Friday will be the next live stream for us here to meet back together. If you guys like today's stream, if you guys are grateful, please do smash up the like button. It really does help. Like, you don't have to donate, you don't have to do anything. Thank you for all the donations. Thank you for all the members. But if you guys are here, I want to treat everyone equal here right now. Like, it makes the most sense, guys. Smash up those like button. It's absolutely free. Destroy it if you can, and we'll see you guys each other next lesson. We're gonna have some more. We got Robert Cases. Your podcasts are awesome. I'm gonna try to do more podcasts. I'm gonna try to do more interviews. I'm trying to do a lot more this week. So yeah. Also, we have a special live stream on Friday as well, like a second live stream. It's gonna be something really cool happening in Hong Kong. Really major prime location, Tsim Sha Tsui. Like, you guys probably know it. It's where all the tourists go when there are tourists, of course. But it's one of the major districts in Hong Kong. Something super cool is happening there. So I'll meet you guys and there as well. I'll be doing a live there. So that's on Friday. So Friday, 2 live streams. We're gonna see each other a lot. It's gonna be super, super fun. I'll see you guys soon. and peace
I'd like to take the time now to tell you a little bit about everything that's happening in the box mining ecosystem. First and foremost, if you guys like listening to all that's happening in crypto on the go, then I would highly recommend you checking out the Box Mining Bitcoin Out of the Box podcast. And the reason why it's called Bitcoin Out of the Box is because we have long interview segments very much exploring the detail of the newest and latest of what's going on in this whole cryptocurrency space. Whole idea of it is to bridge that gap between knowledge privileged institutional investors and the rest of us here in this space. Now, with the podcast, it's on everything. So it's on Apple Podcasts, it's on Google Podcasts, it's on Spotify. Just search it anywhere, Bitcoin Out of the Box. So just add that onto a playlist and let's just follow the new episodes when it's released. Next up, we also have the Box Mining newsletter. So this happens roughly bi-weekly. We give you an update of the latest that's going on in a very summarized, condensed format. So this is perfect for anyone that wants an overview of the market. Say, for example, what's happening with OKX, the biggest event, or maybe the little things like what's happening with different coins and overall the trend. So what I use the newsletter for personally myself is to understand what kind of phase we're in crypto, to kind of get in tune. So if you don't read crypto every day, the newsletter is perfect for you. Last but not least, in the link down below, if you're a Telegram user, we have the Box Mining announcements channel. So this is to announce to you basically what's the latest videos coming up, but also we have a daily update, a community-driven daily update to provide you an idea of the latest updates on the day. And a lot of people have been using that to get informed of the crazy amounts of trends that we see. And I have to give a big thank you for Claudio, our community member, for doing this. It's just been phenomenal. Definitely want to give you a shout out there, Claudio, as well for that. And taking us to the end of the live stream, so make sure, number one, you click like and subscribe on this video because it really does help this channel. And then, of course, check out the podcast. It's one of the best ways to know a little bit more, to extend that knowledge, especially in your spare time. And then, of course, check out the newsletter. If you're, if you want those updates and summaries and trends, newsletter is the place for you. And with that, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you have a good one. See you in the next video.
Also, before we head out, I have a pro tip for you guys. So I just recently got this. This is super cool. This is the newest drone from DJI. You guys probably know I love drones. Just got the FPV drone. All right, so this is like the latest hottest thing in the drone world, right? But when you fly it, you'll know that it's super dangerous, right? These things go up to like 120 kilometers per hour. They're not toys. Like they might look like a toy that you buy someone. They're not. Like these are like serious flying machines, right? They're very fast, very agile. They can do flips and all that stuff. So recently, if you guys are into FPV, into drones, this drone, pretty amazing. But if you want to get to know the hobby a bit, I would definitely suggest something smaller. Like these things, you'll do far less damage if you actually fly one of these and just hit a tree or something like that. You know, you don't want to ever hit people, but with these small ones, it's much easier to control. So recently, I've been like just kind of relearning and going back like that's kind of how I work, right? Like I realize how powerful this is, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna practice on this small one first. So that's kind of how I'm doing. Anyways, that's my side hobbies for you right now. That's like it's kind of what I'm occupying my weekends with. I'm just trying to learn how to fly these things a little bit more. It takes a little bit of time, but you know that's kind of always how it goes, right? So anyways, that's my side thing, non-crypto related to show at the end of the video, but small drone, good. Large drone, super good, but definitely not a toy. So I guess that's my drone adventures this weekend for you guys. So anyways, that was kind of fun. And with that, guys, thank you so much. I want to see a drone FPV tour of GB. That would be fun. Just fly that drone through it. That would be super fun. But yeah, once I'm good enough, man, I'm training those skills. I'm honing down those skills and just like I have a bunch of batteries for this. Like that's the problem with FPV, right? You just have to buy a bunch of batteries. I'm that guy. I'm that guy with a bunch of batteries and a bunch of like weird things. I'm that guy. Sucks. All right, cool.